Thank you so much. And thank you, Jaipur Bookmark, for inviting all of us and giving us the opportunity to profile Marathi publishing before national audience, giving it the importance and recognition we all feel it deserves. I think this year is a particularly good year to profile Marathi. In 2024, Marathi was given the designation of a classical Indian language, and therefore it has assumed specific significance. And today's conversation is more about Marathi publishing and its rich legacy and how we see the future trends in Marathi publishing. We will, over the period of the next 45 minutes, converse largely in English out of interest to the varied audience we have from around the country. But all being Marathi publishers and representatives of the Maharashtra government, we would also dip into our mother tongue because that is appropriate and that's what comes naturally to us. So to begin with, I will start with Dr. Kulkarni, who represents the state government. He is the head of the Marathi Bhasha Vibhag and Cultural Affairs, which of course assumes great importance now in the context of this recognition given to Marathi by the government of India. And I would like him to begin with his views on how he sees the government sort of using this opportunity to expand Marathi beyond the borders of the state. It, of course, is already fairly well known everywhere, but much more. So over to Dr. Kulkarni. Just very briefly, the format we would use is that each speaker would talk a little bit about what their publishing house is doing, trying to throw light on a different aspect of Marathi publishing, and then we will do some question and answers and then throw it open to the audience. Dr. Kulkarni.
सगळ्यांना नमस्कार आणि राम राम. So it's my pleasure to be here and to present Government of Maharashtra Marathi Bhasha Vibhag as one of the key participant and sponsor for this event. It's really a thing of pleasure. So coming to your question, yes, it's right that classical status was awarded to Marathi language last year. 1 year is just completed. One needs to understand what is classical status. First thing is that central government has some scheme about the languages having classical status. And central government accords the status for that particular scheme, which has some benefits for the language. So this is nothing but inclusion of Marathi language in that central scheme as classical language. Because our Marathi language was a classical language, is a classical language, and will remain as classical language. And that all of us know. So this is just a recognition given by central government. So that's all. But on another front, we need to understand what is classical status. Because Marathi people will know what I am saying. For music, we are saying classical music, and the translation in Marathi is Shastriya Sangeet. Shastriya is translation of scientific, not of classical. But for language, its classical language is in Marathi, it's Abhijat. Abhijat is for Abhijan, elites. But we are taking some another viewpoint which I will like to mention here. So if we take this, the language which has acquired classical status because of its existence since last 2500 years is a language which is for elites. It is one part of understanding. What we see actually from where the understanding of elites come. So whenever those elites acquired this language and used this language, they got it from the folks. So all folk literature, all folk music, that's also classical. And as you know, Marathi has two very clear streams. One is standard language, which is dominated and influenced by Sanskrit, and another is folk language. In Marathi, we call it Boli Bhasha, local dialect. So these two streams are there, and after getting the classical status, it's a challenge before all of us to develop both the streams, not only standard language stream. So that's the main challenge before us, and Maharashtra government is doing something for that, which I can explain later. Thank you.
Thank you. This was most insightful, and it comes, I think, less from Dr. Kulkarni's bureaucratic background and more from his author role. He's written over 11 books and played a role in over 30 films. So that's an angle which I think gives him this insight into what is classical and what is folk and the role that it plays in the whole evolution of language. Thank you. Vikas, would you like to say a few words, and then maybe Ashutosh and then Rohan, and then we'll come back to some of the questions.
The time is less for us, and so to be precise, I have written a few words. I may leave the paper, and on extempore I can explain something. So, I am delighted to say that Jyotsna Prakashan is a trendsetter in the field of children's literature, founded way back in 1950 by my father. So we are enjoying the 75th glorious year of our tradition. Thank you. The late Lakshman Gopal Paranjape, my father, he was the first in the publishing sector in Marathi to realize that storybook printed in the large font will attract young readers. So in a way, we were pioneer in that type of books. After a brief stint in Popular Prakashan, a prestigious publishing house which Harsha is representing, my father set up Jyotsna Prakashan, that is his own business. The internship immensely helped him understand the trade and also master the techniques of publishing. Now this is the Vaibhavi Parampara asं मला Maharashtra बद्दल वाटतं. So I'm coming to Marathi now, because there is still in today publishing trade, there is no academic training we get. There are some courses now by NBT of certificate course of publishing. But otherwise, all our publishers are as working with some other publishing houses, working as an intern, suppose the word was not there, internship, but they worked as an intern, and then opening up with it was the era of 1950, so people were struggling to settle down, doing something in their field with some motivation. So popular, my father also worked with other publication houses, Keshwar, Bikaji, Javran, and the beauty is, all them supported. In fact, I think owner of in those days, owner of Dhavole suggested him, looking at his talent, why don't you start your own publication house? He encouraged, even your father and grandfather has encouraged my father and supported. So that is the beauty of Vaibhavi Parampara Marathi here, and still having healthy relations. We are walking on the same path, hand in hand. And there is no competition, no bitterness. We have a very lovely relations with Bhatkal family in me. So I'm proud of that. My father was intern in Popular Prakashan, which they are enjoying hundreds of years. So
Are you saying this only because we're in public? Huh?
No, I sincerely express my gratitude. No, this is evening ki baat kar rahe aap. So the Marathi publishing trade has a proud tradition of children's books. Other than Jyotsna Prakashan, there are many players. Even Popular has published a very nice children's literature by Vinda Karndikar. Mouse has published something very nice, illustrious author Mangesh Padgaonkar. But what I can humbly say that Jyotsna Prakashan began in 1950 as like any other publishing house. However, over the last 7 decades have been devoted only to children's books with consistency and sense of commitment. So Jyotsna Prakashan has dedicated for 7 decades to only children's publishing. That is the difference. Otherwise, others have also their contribution, because I am representing Marathi publishing trade, not Jyotsna Prakashan here. So I must take a note of that contribution. Globalization marked the advent of 1990s. Sensing the mood of Marathi readers, we went bilingual. Me and my brother joined this business, say, in 85 or 87, 1985, 87, and we decided to go bilingual and began publishing simultaneously in Marathi and English. Needless to say, the experiment was successful as it opened the avenues for sale in the national market. And when I'm saying avenues to sell, I'm saying not only physically the printed books, but the sale of rights also. That is available now with our children's literature. I must also add, the publishing in English gives us a financial stability. So up till now, this is the story of children's literature publishing of Jyotsna Prakashan. Thanks.
Yeah, hi. It's a privilege and an honor to be a part of such a distinguished panel. We have with us Mr. Harsha Bhatkal, who carries the legacy of 100-year-old popular Prakashan, 75 years old Jyotsna Prakashan, a person who carries the whole, shoulders the responsibility of Marathi Bhasha, Dr. Kiran Kulkarni. And of course, Rohan Prakashan also has a great legacy. 4 decades, that's great. I'm grateful and thank Manisha ji and her team of Jaipur Bookmark and Jaipur Literature Festival for making us feel privileged and inviting us for this session. Now coming back to Sakal Prakashan is the books division of Sakal Media Group. As a lot of Marathi faces here, it has a very, I would say we will also be completing 100 years in 2032. So the newspaper started in 1932 by Nanasaheb Parolekar. And it is great, I'm proud to say that I represent Sakal here. Sakal Prakashan in a way is quite new in comparison to the Sakal newspaper brand. But our contribution has been quite significant, and as I said, we all here bring very diverse experiences and diverse publishing programs. Sakal Prakashan has been able to establish a very diverse publishing program in its way. It comes from the policy of Sakal newspaper of enriching its readers, being a part of the policy making in the state, influencing better policies for the citizens of Maharashtra. So we have been majorly a non-fiction publisher. The journey started with a book called Ayurveda Garbha Sanskar, and I'm quite happy to say that when I speak about the figures of Ayurveda Garbha Sanskar, even the English publishers, international publishers are awe-inspired, is because we have been able to sell 6.5 lakh copies of Ayurveda Garbha Sanskar. Even the English edition, we have sold more than 1 lakh copies. Sakal is also uniquely placed because of its newspaper and because of its policy of enriching the lives of its readers. It is I may assume that it is the only media house in the world to have an agricultural news daily, which was started in 2005. And it's very popular in Maharashtra. In fact, it is very powerful newspaper is because farmers love that newspaper. From all this came the content for Sakal Prakashan. We have a very unique catalog of agriculture books, which is very popular among farmers as well. We have very strong backlists and range in agricultural publishing. Our Shetiche Cadre, which is about laws which impact farmers. It's not only land laws, but also minimum price guarantee laws and various other things, is one of our bestsellers and have been bestsellers for last 15 years. Similarly, we have done a lot of work in organic farming in the agriculture catalog. Our parenting catalog is also very strong. So while developing the catalog for publishing or the publishing program, we have been very conscious in terms of how we develop it. So when Ayurveda Garbha Sanskar by Dr. Shri Balaji Tambe was launched, and it received great response, and we started reaching out to the families. It was launched in 2007, so that generation is now in, I would say, schools and colleges. And we have been able to shape that generation. So we reached out to the families again with offerings like healthy tiffin, which is another one of the best sellers, to make the family nutritious, parenting tips from leading parenting authors and psychologists. So that has been the journey. मराठीत सांगायचं झालं तर माती अजून पाणी ह्या सगळ्याच प्रश्नांशी आम्ही संबंधित आहोत. Sakal did phenomenal work in desilting project. In fact, Sakal was instrumental in developing the white paper, which with the government of Maharashtra, Pemandu, and Sakal contributed in terms of desilting projects across Maharashtra, which helped a lot of drought-prone areas. So similarly, we developed books which help our readers understand how to the importance of groundwater, the technique and technology of groundwater. So we, with 1200 books, we touch a very wide spectrum of issues and subjects in Maharashtra. But at the same time, we also do literary books. We do history. We have started doing fiction and poetry too. So this has been the journey.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Rohan is the representative of the youth in Marathi publishing today. And let's get his take, and then I will ask a few questions from the panelists.
Thanks, Harsha. It's my honor to be speaking at the Jaipur Literary Festival's Jaipur Bookmark. I thank all the organizers, and I thank the Marathi Bhasha Vibhag on behalf of all of us that they powered the event. And I'm glad that it's an opportunity wherein I can tell a few things about Marathi publishing, with starting from Rohan Prakashan, which is for which I represent as the third generation of business. It started 43 years back, and with a view that we have to publish few books or give content which could make a difference. The first book was Jaga Vegli Mansa. I think my grandfather used to tell me that this is a unique kind of a project as compared to the times in 1980s. So my grandfather, Manohar Champanekar, who was a teacher and an editor and a writer himself, he wrote more than 150 books on mathematics and English. But later, like my father joining the business, like they both started this business with a view that they would give something contributory to the new age Marathi market which would be developing. And Rohan Prakashan has been trend setting, I'm proud to say, at many a times, many junctures of the decades, I would say, wherein we could bring in a lot of non-fiction books into self-help, utility, the cooking culture of Marathi homes. We supported that. Then the health books with B.K.S. Iyengar's all the books published in Marathi by Rohan Prakashan. And to add to it, we published the English edition, which is of the original Marathi book, which is now translated into at least 9 foreign languages. I'm proud to say that. So that is a kind of thing, if we try new age, we can go miles and miles. So I joined the business almost 16 plus years back, and with a legacy of the quality production that Rohan Prakashan has always been into. And as I say production, it's just not about the printing and the quality of paper that we use, but it's about the editing, the thought put in each book, whether it be fiction or non-fiction. So for 3.5 decades, Rohan has been focusing on to more of non-fiction books, politics, or biographies of eminent personalities. So I'm proud to say that Yashwantrao Chauhan's all the books have been republished by us, and we have been able to take it to the maximum audiences which were not getting the availability of the books in the right way. So along with that, we published few important biographies of Nyayamurti Ranade, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Indira Gandhi, and many more. But I would just highlight on a point wherein we did two seminal projects. Yanni Ghadavla Sahasrak, the makers of the millennium. So I'm proud to say, ह्या साहित्य संमेलनात त्या पुस्तकाची 21वी आवृत्ती प्रसिद्ध झाली. आजवर त्याच्या 50,000हून अधिक कॉपीज इंटरनेटच्या युगात सुद्धा लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचलेले आहेत. The book has been sold more than 50,000 copies in the age of internet, which I'm proud to say. After that, we published Asa Ghadla Bharat, the post-independence history of India, 1947 to 2012. So it covers it was a mega project, research of over 7+ years, 25 lakh rupees of research cost, without any funding or anything, and without any bias. I'm proud to say that. It's a fundamental documentation that has been done about all the events, just not political, all the events, whether it be architecture, art, social, business, everything, and the fundamental laying of the country, like for example, the Labour parties or the Reserve Bank, or all these details have been there in the book. So such kind of vision Rohan Prakashan has been carrying with a view to enrich the lives of everyone. Since last around 8 years, we are into mainstream fiction, contemporary fiction we have been publishing to a great extent. We have a battery of phenomenal authors and new age authors also who are writing really well. So I'm bringing up this point of Rohan Prakashan just to initiate a discussion in the future, like further talks that we have, that Marathi, along with the rich heritage that is that Marathi language can give to all the rest of India and the world maybe. The new age contemporary thought is also has been an important contribution, and I would say Maharashtra has always given progressive thought to the people of Maharashtra and the rest of India. Like other states have followed suit. सगळ्यांनी त्याचं अनुकरणच केलेलं आहे किंवा त्याला खूप महत्त्व आहे. मोठी नावं सगळीच आहेत, आपल्याला माहितीच आहे. आंबेडकर आहेत, ज्योतिबा फुले आहेत, किंवा सगळेच नवीन जे सुद्धा आहेत त्यातले सुद्धा अनेक विचारवंत महाराष्ट्राने दिलेले आहेत. And that legacy is getting continued through the rich publishing, I would say. And it's, as Harsha mentioned in his previous session, it's a family-oriented, warm bonding. Vikas Parampara, I call him Vikas Kaka, also said that. So it's that kind of a relation, but it's in the path wherein we have to see a bigger future. So it's my viewpoint that अडचणी नसून आव्हानं आहेत. And these are the challenges that we need to carry, and we have to have a bigger vision. Then everything goes in a different way. Right. So thanks for giving me the first opportunity.
Thank you, Rohan. Though I'm the moderator, I'll just take just 2-3 minutes to talk about Popular Prakashan. Many of you would have heard a lot about it at the previous session, which was entirely devoted to Popular's publishing. But to those who've joined only this session, Popular's been in publishing for over 100 years, in Marathi publishing for now 75 years, and has published a lot in literature, path-breaking poetry, theatre. 3 of the 4 Jnanpith Award winners in Marathi have been published by Popular Prakashan. Numerous Sahitya Academy Award winners, and new writers. We're always on the lookout for the next Bhalchandra Nemade or the next Shirvadkar or the next Karandikar. So that continues to be a path we go on after 100 years of publishing, and we're delighted to be part of the Marathi publishing industry. I will leave it at that in terms of Popular. Coming to what you said, Dr. Kulkarni, and I hope I'm not putting you in a spot, because all the time publishers must be asking you, because this is on publishing and not Marathi Bhasha. So what will you do for Marathi publishers, one, in terms of this classical publishing, or whatever the central government has enabled you to do? And the second is, you've been an author, so the other side of the table. What do you feel that publishers can do for authors in terms of taking, Marathi forward, because these are, as Rohan said, challenging times. It's very important. And when we talk of Marathi heritage, I'll just talk very briefly. For example, Popular Prakashan published a dictionary of old Marathi. Now, Marathi, when we talk of heritage, because we are the, 21st century people, we think of 21st century as old. As he rightly pointed out, it's a far older language. And there isn't a lot of documentation which has, for example, captured the old Marathi. This Anne Feldhaus, with the support of the University of Washington Press, did this research which went on for like more than a decade and put together this old Marathi dictionary that we published. But त्याच्यानंतर जे मराठी बोललं गेलं त्याच्या अजून डिक्शनरीज किंवा डॉक्युमेंटेशन झालं नाही आहे. Or we did Riti Pustak, which is, there is this standard style book for publishers all over the world, the Chicago Manual of Style, and there needed to be something in Marathi. So my father and our Marathi editor for a long time, Rudula Joshi, published Riti Pustak. But we need many more. Riti Pustak followed the style book of Popular Prakashan, which we do believe is a standard, and many publishers now do use that. पण आणखीन असं डॉक्युमेंटेशन होण्याची गरज आहे. And maybe this can be an opportunity for the government to step in so that we document not only what is happening today, but bring this 2,000-year heritage back to life in terms of the next generation knowing the richness and this legacy. Otherwise, it's going to go, because I don't think social media influencers are going to talk about this.
Yeah. So very interesting question. Thanks for asking such question. I will reply this question in a different way. As you know, language is like a river, right? It flows, still remains. मराठीमध्ये फार सुंदर म्हणता येतं की नदी वाहते तरी राहते, तशी भाषा वाहते तरी राहते. आता हा जो मुद्दा आहे ना, हा पब्लिशर्सनी, लेखकांनी, गव्हर्नमेंटने, सगळ्या स्टेक होल्डर्सनी लक्षात घ्यायला पाहिजे की ही भाषा आहे, ही वाहती आहे, प्रवाही आहे आणि तरी ती राहते आहे. तर हे राहणं कसं पकडणार आपण? तर हे पकडण्यासाठी पब्लिशर्सनी काही त्यांच्या बाजूनं विचार केला पाहिजे, लेखकांनी केला पाहिजे, गव्हर्नमेंटनी केला पाहिजे. आणि तो एकदा विचार करून संपला असं होणार नाही आहे. तर हे सतत घडणारी अशी ती गोष्ट आहे. पब्लिशिंगच्या वैभवशाली परंपरेबद्दल आपण बोलतो. When we say that 2,500 years glorious tradition of a language. So what was publishing method for these 2,500 years? There were rock inscriptions, there were some copper inscriptions. Of course paper was there, किंवा भूर्जपत्र आपण म्हणतो त्याच्यावरती लिहिलेलं आहे. अशी हजारो हस्तलिखित आज महाराष्ट्राच्या वेगळ्या वेगळ्या घरांमधनं, मठांमधनं, देवळांमधनं शिल्लक आहेत. ती आयडेंटिफाय करणं हे आपल्या सगळ्यांपुढचं एक मोठं चॅलेंज आहे. इवन पब्लिशर्स पुढचं सुद्धा चॅलेंज आहे. ती आयडेंटिफाय करणं, त्याच्याही पुढे जाऊन ती कॉन्झर्व करणं, हे आपण जर अभिजात भाषेचा वारसा सांगणार असू तर आपण ते केलं पाहिजे. आणि गव्हर्नमेंट त्याच दिशेनं चाललं आहे. आय विल लाईक टू मेन्शन हिअर that our DPR, Detailed Project Report for Classical Language, it includes all these things: identification of these manuscripts, conservation of these manuscripts, translation of these manuscripts in contemporary language. So these are the main focal points which we are covering in our DPR. This is our action program for classical language. Having said this, I will reply to your question that what government will intend to do for the publishers. So there are 2 points. One is for contemporary literature and one is for classical literature. As you know, the term classical has some periodical limitation. Like for Tamil, the limitation is from starting up to 6th century. But for Marathi, we have come to an understanding that our classical period starts from Gatha Saptashati up to 17th to 18th century. It covers all saint literature as well as all folk literature. म्हणजे आपण मराठीत म्हणतो तशी वासुदेवाची गाणी असतील, पोतराजाची गाणी असतील, हा अभिजात मराठीचा भाग आहे. आणि हा जो एक विशाल दृष्टिकोन आहे, हा जोपर्यंत पब्लिशर कम्युनिटी अंगीकारत नाही तोपर्यंत अभिजातसाठी पब्लिशर कम्युनिटीचं काम होऊ शकणार नाही. आणि याच्यासाठी केवळ पब्लिशर कम्युनिटी नाही, गव्हर्नमेंटने पण पुढे यायला पाहिजे. म्हणूनच आमच्या साहित्य संस्कृती प्रकाशन आम्ही जी करतो त्याच्यामधनं आम्ही काही बृहत ग्रंथ प्रकाशित करतो, काही महत्त्वाच्या विषयावरती आम्ही पुस्तकं प्रकाशित करतो. पण मला असं नेहमी वाटतं की काही विषय असे आहेत, विशेषतः आपल्याला सांगायला हरकत नाही की गाथा सप्तशतीपासून ज्ञानेश्वरीपर्यंत, म्हणजे आपण असं म्हणू शकतो की 300 BC टू 1200 असं आपण म्हणू शकतो. या काळामधल्या मराठी लिटरेचरबद्दल, मराठी पोएट्रीबद्दल, मराठी रायटिंगबद्दल पब्लिशर्सनी फारसं काही पब्लिश केलेलं नाही, ही वस्तुस्थिती आहे. लेट्स कॉन्सन्ट्रेट ऑन दॅट विल बी माय सजेशन. And of course for this government's help will be required because it will be based on the research. And it's true that research is also less comparatively, because on saint literature there is much research, but for this period which is prior to Jnaneshwar, the research is less. So for this, publishers and government should work together. Otherwise also government is doing something for publishers, but I will appeal and urge to all the publishers which are very esteemed publishers of Marathi language, that you please suggest to government what government should do, because publication is a business. So when there is a point how to facilitate a business, like I am also Secretary of Cultural Affairs, so I am facing the same issue regarding Marathi film industry. Marathi film industry is also a business. How to facilitate a business? That's a different ball game. So I will, government will need your advice. So you please do come to my office. We will discuss and we will finalize an action plan. Maybe in next Jaipur Literature Festival, we will present our action plan. Right?
That would be lovely. Thank you, Dr. Kulkarni. Coming to something which Ashutosh talked about, and I think that's very interesting in the context of today, where there is this fear of people reading less books, etc. And I think one of the things we should remember is people will read less books if those books are not meaningful to them. And what Ashutosh seems to have developed is this agricultural list, which is a need. I don't think it was a reader base that was recognized by publishers, and it's obviously an enormous base. Of course, there are television programs that Doordarshan and various other bodies have done over the years, and it's been pioneering work. But certainly, more and more books on that field would be great. So, how did you come about it? Is it only because Sakal was doing the agricultural paper, or you felt that this is an area which is being neglected? I know it at one level doesn't have much to do with literary work. At the same time, it's what people want to read, and we should give people what they want to read and need to read.
So when I was asked to develop a publishing program, there is Popular Prakashan, there is Mauj, there is Rajhans, there is Mehta. There is so much of learning from the catalog. But they were playing their strengths. So I was just figuring out what were the Sakal's strengths. So we did some number crunching, how many people read stories, how many people read poetries. But then it came to our mind that not all newspaper readers are book readers. And we can satisfy the need of our readers with delivering something which we feel more responsible for, and we have our strengths. So it should not get wasted. So we took that responsibility, and I'm happy to say that we shouldered it quite efficiently, and we have delivered a good range of books for the farmers. Coming to the point of the challenge the publishing industry, especially the Marathi publishing industry, is facing, because I come from a corporate culture, we have targets, we have P&Ls, and I interact with all the friends in English publishing industry, and many a times the national sales heads of Penguin and HarperCollins says that their sales targets are achieved by December. Next 3 years are bonus. So I hope to see that future in Marathi publishing, where by December I'm able to achieve my targets, and the next 3 months are my bonus months. Coming back to this question, so being Sakal, a media house, can we take the responsibility of reviving the reading culture in Maharashtra, was one question. Can we partner with the government of Maharashtra like we partner with government of Maharashtra in fighting the challenge of drought in Maharashtra, which was basically because of runaway water. The water was not seeping. So Sakal also contributed around 20 crore rupees in the initial desilting projects before even chipped in. So we take that responsibility. It comes in our DNA at Sakal, and we take it forward. So the challenge is that reading culture is getting down. Drawn from the inspiration of JLF and what's happening in Pune Book Festival, can we glamorize this industry, bring more talent to it, so that we can inculcate more authors into it. And we started 2 programs in Sakal, is taking the book festivals across Maharashtra to tier 2 cities and towns, including Goa. That's in the agenda. Secondly, we found that a lot of authors are not writing is because publishing is a big challenge. They see that the costs are very high. So for last 4 years, we have been doing publishing workshops across Maharashtra, educating authors about the publishing process, bridging the gap between publishing, so that more literature comes into the flow, more readers get to read different kind of and variety of literature. So these are the efforts that Sakal has been.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Sorry to interrupt you. We are going to run out of time. Before throwing it open to the audience, there's just one question for Vikas, because he left it out. He talked about their contribution to children's books, but didn't refer to their contribution to art book publishing and the technique of art. Very briefly, because we are really out of time, if you can tell us a bit about that, because that was pioneering work as well, and Jyotsna Prakashan is as much known for its books on art.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, the journey starts when my elder brother Milind realized that in Marathi, there were no books for drawing for children level. So it was not that we have a big plan, but the success story just we just followed some new avenues, some new ideas, and it was successful. So we came up with the Chitre Gada, Prananchi, Pakshanchi style of books with Pundalik Vaze, which most of the generations have followed and inspired for drawing. And that was successful. Finally, what has happened is simultaneously published in English. And one morning, so that is the anecdote, one morning a fellow from Kolkata, who was a bookseller, came to my Girgaon office, said, I want 100 copies each of these. So I realized we have a greater market. Then we started adding the titles in that, and with English and Marathi both, we were successful. The main thing was, as we are in Maharashtra, we have Zeze School of Art, we have a rich tradition of fine art, we have a Bombay School, a prestigious, glorious heritage, and so we are a number of artists with us. The success, the main SOP of our success is Indian style of painting with Indian subject. Market was flooded with painting books from foreign, carrying churches, carrying their anatomy, carrying their seascapes, subjects. But when our artist Mili Muli decided to come up with some Konkan landscapes and some, so the Indian style of painting with Indian content. Again, I am coming to the point for regional language, which is that just not for a drawing, even we followed in children's literature. The need of the time is to publish Indian content.
Barabar.
That is going to be successful. That
Barabar.
Indian content can be translated in English, but the content should be Indian, and that is the main focus we have both in children's literature and in art, and that is the success story.
Thank you, Vikas. This was a very important point, and it's a point for everyone. Sorry, Rohan, I'll try and come back to you for your follow-up, but let me now throw it open to the audience, and if there is time, then we will get back to you.
मराठीमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या बोलीभाषा बोलल्या जातात, पण प्रमाण भाषा अभ्यासणारी लोक किंवा ती बोलणारी भाषा ज्यावेळेला ग्रामीण भागांमधल्या पुस्तकांचा किंवा बोलीभाषेमध्ये लिहिलेल्या पुस्तकांचा अभ्यास करायला सुरुवात करतात, तेव्हा योग्य असा शब्दकोशच आपल्याकडे मिळत नाही. तर या भाषांचे शब्दकोश निर्माण करण्यासाठी सरकारकडून काही प्रयत्न केले जातील का, किंवा त्या संदर्भात काही काम होऊ शकेल का?
येस, फार महत्त्वाची गोष्ट आहे. काही काम याच्याबद्दल झालेलं आहे, त्याची माहिती देता येईल किंवा आपल्याला घेता येईल, पण पुढे आणखी खूप काही करायची गरज आहे. आपल्या माहितीसाठी सांगतो, एका स्कॉलरने शोधून काढलं की महाराष्ट्रामध्ये मराठीच्या बोलीभाषांची संख्या किती आहे, तर ती 216 आहे. 216 बोलीभाषा म्हणजे व्हेरी रिच लँग्वेज अशी आपली आहे. परभाषेतले जे शब्द आले अशा 35 परभाषा आहेत ज्याचे शब्द मोठ्या प्रमाणात मराठीमध्ये आलेले आहेत. आता या सगळ्याचा शब्दकोशामध्ये विचार करायचा तर आपण म्हणता ते बरोबर आहे की आत्तापर्यंतचे शब्दकोश हे प्रमाण भाषेमध्ये, जे मी मगा सांगितलं तसे जे 2 स्ट्रीम्स आहेत त्यातल्या प्रमाण भाषेचा स्ट्रीम हा संस्कृत डॉमिनेटेड आहे, त्याचे शब्दकोश आहेत. परंतु बोली भाषेबद्दल तेवढं काम झालेलं नाही. आता आपण भाषा पंधरवड्यामध्ये हे काम हाती घेतो आहोत. सर्व 36 जिल्ह्यांमध्ये 216 भाषांचे शब्दकोश तयार करणं, व्याकरण तयार करणं हा एक लॉंग टर्म प्रोजेक्ट आपण आता हाती घेतो.
That's excellent. I hope. Is that lady at the back who had, yeah, you had your hand up first actually.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Alison Barrett. I'm the country director of the British Council here in India, and I also oversee our cultural and educational affairs at the British High Commission. One of the priorities for us is to help build greater appreciation of India's cultural and linguistic diversity amongst young people in the UK. There's not a sort of full understanding and appreciation of the diversity that there is here. And we'd love to discuss kind of ways that we could collaborate to do that, but I wondered if you had any recommendations or suggestions of existing programs that we could maybe dock into or make available to young people in the UK. Thank you.
Rohan, would you like to take that?
I could add a few points. Hello there. So basically, I'll be short in the thing because Maharashtra offers lot of heritage, lot of variety, lot of thought, and lot of contemporary aspects as well. In terms of the social issues, that whatever India is a reflection, or Maharashtra is a reflection of India, but always has been progressive because Mumbai is a very cosmopolitan city. The culture has been diverse throughout. It has been inviting all kinds of Indians to be residing in Maharashtra. So taking this forward, the literature that develops, right from the saints to the thinkers, to the social reformers, and to the new age people with voice or expression in form of writing. So that is happening in India, in Maharashtra, especially in Marathi. So that definitely can be a subject of study, subject of interaction. So I would like to mention here that Marathi is one of the leading languages wherein lot of content has been translated from English and some other languages as well. So I think the German Deutsche Institute also participates into getting some exchanges. I think UK also like few of the projects, but it's not very, people are not aware of these things, like what can be done, and we believe that these exchanges would definitely help. So practically we can discuss more about this.
If I could just add one thing to this. There is a huge repository of content available in Marathi from different periods, as Dr. Kulkarni said, from 2,500 years ago, but even in the last 50, 100 years, a lot of very rich content for all age groups. And I think one of the opportunities for publishers in all languages is what artificial intelligence could do to the game of translation, of taking content from one language across the world. Today, you know, when you talk to most regional language publishers in India, the thought is to translate from English into that language. I think the real opportunity for Marathi language publishers is now to take Marathi and take it into languages across the world the way the others have.
Absolutely.
Gentleman right here.
My question is to Dr. Kulkarni. Sakal has been taken an initiative about Boli Bhasha. I think last year they had run this whole feature all throughout the year, and they have done an initial groundwork on that. So if they were able to connect with the government on this, they could take the research even further with lots more examples and come up with a nice encyclopedia about the language. I think Mr. Ashutosh would agree with this. What do you think?
Sir?
Yeah, you can assure.
Yeah, we will certainly meet and discuss about this. Thank you.
Yeah, we have now literally 30 seconds left, so any one question? A lady in, who's just next to the mic there, yeah.
थँक्यू नमस्कार खूप छान होता इव्हेंट मला खूप माहिती मिळाली माय क्वेश्चन इज वेन द फर्स्ट जनरेशन बिगिन्स इट्स ऑलवेज अ पॅशन प्रोजेक्ट अँड यू आर ऑल मोस्टली सेकंड अँड थर्ड जनरेशन सो डज द पॅशन ट्रान्सलेट ओवर जनरेशन्स और इट बिकम्स बिझनेस ओवर टाइम अँड लाईक इफ देर इज अ डायलेमा व्हॉट डू यू चूज फ्रॉम
So that totally.
I will probably say we are more passionate.
So
Yeah.
so I
We are
would
more
say,
passionate than my father.
I would say we are all creative people, and
Yeah.
that like that thought process, that fabric is in the family, but to sustain it, it's the business part.
Yeah.
You have to be practical about this. We have to take Marathi to higher levels, spread our content into various languages, and be a global player.
And we're out of time.
Yeah.
So thank you very much
Thank you,
for
thank you
being
so much.
part of this panel.
Thank you
Very
so much.
interesting and insights. And thank you JBM, thank you JLF, thank you Manisha and the entire JBM team. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank
from Norway.
hello,
I am the
we would like to thank we would like to hello